1. Introduction. My name is Melania. I am 25 years old. This is my story about my husband, Richard, and about me. I met Richard 2 years ago in a small coffee shop. We started talking, and I liked him right away. He was kind, sometimes quiet, and made me laugh. Richard told me he was a mechanic. He fixed cars. His hands were often dirty with grease from his work. But he had a very warm smile. He worked hard every day. We did not have a lot of money. Our apartment was small, but it was our home. We had one old car that sometimes did not start, but Richard always fixed it easily. He was very good with his hands. Our life was simple. In the morning, we drank coffee together. Richard went to the garage. I worked at a local library. In the evenings, we cooked dinner together. On Fridays, we watched old movies. We did not go to expensive places or buy expensive things, but we were very happy. I felt safe and loved with Richard. He was my best friend and my husband. Richard did not talk much about his family. He never spoke about his life before he met me. Sometimes I asked him about his past. I would say, "Richard, where is your family? Do you have brothers or sisters?" He always smiled and took my hand. He would say, "Melania, my love, my past is not important now. You are my present. You are my future. You are my family now." I believed him. I did not ask more questions. Maybe his past was sad and he did not want to remember it. I loved the Richard I knew. The kind mechanic, my husband, our simple, happy life continued like this for some time. Then, one day, something big happened. Everything changed for us. 2. A big house. I wanted to save some money. I dreamed of a small holiday by the sea. My job at the library did not pay much. So I looked for another job, a part-time job. My friend told me about a cleaning company. They cleaned very big houses. The pay was good. I said yes. On a Saturday, I got my first job with the company. The address was in a different part of the city. It was high in the hills. The houses there were huge, like palaces. I took a bus and walked up a long road. I felt very small when I saw the house. It was enormous. It had a big gate, and a security man let me enter. I went inside with the other cleaners. The house was amazing. There was so much space and many beautiful things. My job was to clean the main entrance hall. It had a floor made of shiny stone. On the wall of the hall, there was a painting. It was a very, very big painting. I started to clean the floor. Then I looked up at the painting. My heart stopped for a moment. The man in the painting looked like Richard. No, it was Richard, but he was different. He wore a black formal suit like for a party. He stood next to a long, black, expensive car. He looked strong and rich. This was not my Richard, the mechanic with dirty hands. My hands began to shake. I felt a little dizzy. I looked closer at the face in the painting. Yes, it was his face. His eyes, it was Richard. How could this be? Why? I took out my phone. My fingers were shaking. I called him. He answered the phone quickly. "Hello, Melania, my love. Is everything okay?" His voice was kind, his normal voice. "Richard," I said loudly. The other cleaners looked at me. "Richard, where are you?" "I am at work fixing a car." "Why? What is wrong?" "Richard," I said, trying to speak quietly. "Why is there a painting of you, a big painting of you in a very large house, a house you never told me about?" He was quiet for a few seconds. I could hear sounds from the garage. Then he made a sad sound. "Oh, Melania, you were not supposed to find this out this way." "Find out what, Richard?" My voice was shaking now. "Find out you live in a palace, that you wear expensive suits and stand next to sports cars. Is this your house?" He paused again. Then he spoke very softly. "It is one of them, Melania." "One of them?" I whispered. "One of your houses." "Yes," he said. I did not know what to say. I finished my work that day. I felt like I was in a dream, a very strange dream. I went home to our small apartment. It looked so small now, so simple. A big secret. After seeing the painting, I felt very strange and confused. My hands shook. I took out my phone. I called Richard right away. He answered on the third ring. His voice was normal and kind, like always. "Richard," I said. My voice was loud and shaky. "Melania, what's wrong? Is everything okay?" he asked. "Richard, why is there a very big painting of you in this mansion?" I asked quickly. "The mansion I am cleaning today, you never told me about it." He was quiet for a moment, a very long moment. I could hear sounds from his garage in the background. Then he sighed. It sounded sad. "Oh, Melania. You weren't supposed to find out like this." "Find out what, Richard?" I asked. My voice was shaking badly now. "Find out that you own this huge house, that you wear expensive clothes and look like a rich man in paintings." Another quiet moment passed. Then he said softly, "It's one of them, Melania." "One of them?" I whispered. My heart was beating fast. "One of your houses?" "Yes," he said. I didn't know what else to say. I finished my cleaning work that day, but I felt like I was in a dream, a very strange dream. I went home to our small apartment. It felt tiny now, so simple. Richard came home late that evening. He looked tired and he still had grease under his fingernails from work. He saw my face right away. He knew I knew. "Melania," he started, his voice soft. "Don't," I said quickly. "Just tell me the truth. Tell me everything now." He sat down next to me. He took a deep breath. He told me his family name was Ashford, Richard Ashford. He explained that the Ashford family owned a very big company, Ashford Industries. It was famous and had a lot of money. He was the only son in the family. This meant he was the heir. One day, he would get everything. He was a billionaire. He told me he did not like that life. He said it was full of fake people and business deals, not real feelings. He hated the pressure. He wanted a simple, honest life, a real life. So he decided to leave. He used his middle name, Richard, and came to this city. He learned to be a mechanic because he always loved cars and working with his hands. Then he met me. He said he fell in love with me immediately. He was very happy with our quiet, simple life. He was afraid to tell me about his past. He was scared I would leave him or that I would change because of the money. He didn't want anyone to think I married him for his money. I listened to him. Tears came to my eyes. I felt so many things. I was shocked. I was confused, and I felt betrayed. My simple, kind husband was not simple at all. He had hidden this big, big secret from me. He was a billionaire. My life suddenly felt very complicated. Richard kept talking. He said he was very sorry for not telling me the truth sooner. He said that his love for me was the only real and true thing in his life, especially in his rich family's world. I didn't know what to believe. My head was spinning. He was the man I loved, my best friend. But he had lied to me about something huge. Could his love be real if it started with such a big secret? I looked at him. My husband, Richard, the mechanic, the billionaire. Who was the real Richard? News everywhere. Someone told the newspapers about us. We do not know who told them. Maybe it was a person from the cleaning company who saw me at the big house. Or maybe it was someone else who knew about Richard's family. Suddenly, our story was everywhere. It was in all the newspapers you could buy. It was on television news programs that many people watched. It was on many websites on the internet for everyone to read. It was in the weekly magazines in the shops. The words on the headlines were very big and loud. They shouted things like, "Billionaire Richard Ashford found." Another one said, "Rich man lived a secret life as a mechanic." And another asked, "Who is his mystery wife?" My name, Melania, was now famous in the news. Richard's name was famous too. Everyone in the country seemed to know about us and our secret life. Then, the paparazzi came to our home. These are people whose job is to take pictures of famous people all the time. They came to our small apartment building. There were so many of them waiting outside. More than 20 people with big cameras and bright lights. They waited outside our home every hour of the day and night. They also waited outside the garage where Richard worked on cars before. They shouted questions at us when we opened the door even a little bit. "Richard, why did you hide your money from your wife?" they shouted. "Melania, did you marry him because you knew he was rich?" Their cameras made a lot of noise and bright flashes of light. Flash, flash, flash. It was constant, like a storm. When we tried to walk outside, even just to buy some food, they were there. They followed us everywhere. They took hundreds of pictures of us. They even stood across the street and tried to take pictures through the windows of our small apartment. Our life, which was simple and private for 2 years, changed very quickly. It was not private anymore. It felt like we were actors in a public play that everyone could watch. It felt like a strange show, a circus for the whole public. We could not walk outside alone. We could not go to the small shop near our apartment for milk or bread. We had to stay inside our home for most of the time. I felt very scared because I was not used to this. I felt like a bird in a cage. I felt trapped inside our small apartment with no way out. Richard tried his best to protect me from all the noise and the questions. He talked to some people who worked for his family's big company. They had a team of security guards whose job was to protect the family. These people helped us a little bit. They sometimes helped us get in and out of the building safely without too many pictures. But it was still very difficult. The whole world now knew about Richard Ashford, the man who was born into a very rich family. And the whole world knew about me, Melania, his wife who lived with him when he was just a mechanic. Our life was not simple anymore. It was now a story for everyone to read and watch on TV. Many people were watching us now, all the time. 5. Another woman. Melania was alone in the apartment. Richard went out very early that morning. He wanted to try and get some food. It was difficult for them to go outside now. Many people with cameras, called paparazzi, waited outside their building all the time. They shouted questions and took pictures. Melania felt trapped inside their small home. She felt like a prisoner. She felt very sad and worried. The world outside felt dangerous and noisy. She wanted to forget everything for a little time. She turned on the television. Maybe watching TV could help her relax. The news was on. Soon, the news program started talking about Richard and her. Their pictures were on the screen again. Melania felt a cold feeling in her stomach. Her heart started to beat very fast. Then the picture on the screen changed. It showed a woman. She was very beautiful. She had long blonde hair and wore nice clothes. She looked strong and important, but her eyes looked angry. The person on the news, the reporter, said, "And now we have an important interview. We talk to Victoria Sterling. She was Richard Ashford's fiancée." Melania froze. She did not move from the sofa. Richard's fiancée? He was going to marry someone else. He had a fiancée. He never told her this. Never. This was another very big secret Richard had kept from her. Victoria Sterling started to speak to the camera. She spoke clearly and loudly. Her voice sounded cold and hard. "Richard left me," she said. "He left me just a few days before our wedding day." She said Richard disappeared. He just went away. He did not call. He did not explain. He just left her. "He broke my heart completely," Victoria said. "He also made my family feel very bad. It was a big problem and a big shame for us." Victoria Sterling looked straight at the camera. She looked very angry when she spoke about Richard leaving her before the wedding. Then, the news program showed a picture of Melania again. It was a picture from the newspaper. Melania looked scared and unhappy in the photo. Victoria Sterling looked at Melania's picture on the screen. She smiled a little. It was not a kind smile. It was a hard, unfriendly smile. "And now I see," she said, her voice full of dislike. "He left me, he left his rich life, he left everything. For this." She looked at Melania's picture again. She said, "He ran away from his responsibilities to play a poor man with this nobody." Melania felt very small. A nobody. Was that what she was in this big, rich world? Was that what Richard thought about her? No, she could not believe Richard thought that. But why did he hide this? A fiancé? A wedding that was planned? This was a huge thing to keep secret. She sat on the sofa, feeling weak. She felt shock. She felt hurt deep inside. She felt more confused than ever before. Richard had a secret life as a billionaire. That was the first big secret. Now he had another secret. He was going to marry another woman. He left her just before their wedding. Melania wondered, how many more secrets did Richard have in his past? She felt like she did not truly know the man she married, the man she loved so much. She thought about Victoria Sterling's words again. "He left me days before our wedding." Richard met Melania about 2 years ago. The wedding Victoria talked about must have been around the same time. Did he leave Victoria and then meet Melania very soon after? Was Melania a part of the reason he left? Melania felt tears start in her eyes. This was too much to understand. The cameras outside, the noisy news about their lives, the many secrets. And now, another woman from Richard's past. A woman he was going to marry. He always said his past was not important. He said Melania was his present and future. Was he saying that because he was hiding all these big things? Victoria Sterling's beautiful, angry face was still on the TV screen. She was a part of Richard's hidden past, a past he kept completely secret from Melania. Melania felt a deep, heavy sadness in her heart. This new secret hurt her. It felt like another wall between her and Richard, a wall made of all his secrets. 6. Richard explains. Richard came back to the apartment. He saw my face. I was very sad. The television was on. He saw the woman talking. It was Victoria Sterling. "Melania," he said. His face was white. "A fiancé, Richard?" I asked. My voice was quiet. It hurt to speak. "You were going to marry someone else. You did not tell me." He closed his eyes for a moment. "Yes," he said softly. "Her name is Victoria Sterling." He came closer. "It was an arranged engagement," he explained. "Our families planned it. It was for business. To make our companies bigger. It was like a contract. It was not about love." He looked at me with sad eyes. "I did not love her, Melania. I could not marry her. I could not live that life. a life controlled by business and money. It was not real. He sat next to me. So I left. I left everything. The money, the company, Victoria, all of it. I wanted to be free. I wanted to find a real life. He took my hands, his hands, the hands I knew, strong hands. "Then I met you, Melania," he said. "When I met you, it was real, from the first moment. My feelings for you were never a secret. I love you. Only you." He told me he was afraid. He was afraid to tell me about his past, afraid of the money, afraid it would change me, or afraid I would leave him because of it. He thought people would say I married him for money. "So every day," I said, my voice was still shaking a little. "Every day we were together, you had this big secret." "No, Melania," he said quickly. "The love was not a secret. My love for you is real. It is the most real thing in my life. I hid the money. I hid my past. I was scared. But I never hid my heart from you." He held my hands tightly. He looked into my eyes. I saw the love there, the same love I always saw, the love of the kind mechanic. Now I knew he was a billionaire, but the love felt the same. I looked around our small apartment. The noise from outside was loud. The cameras were still there. My life was very different now. But Richard was still here. He was explaining. He was telling me his truth. He said he was sorry for hiding things. He said he just wanted a normal life with me, a life where his past did not matter. But now his past was here. It was all around us. He held my hands. His eyes asked me to understand, to believe him. He said his love for me was the only true thing he found when he left his old world. He chose me. He chose this simple life with me over his rich, fake life. He waited for me to speak. His face was full of worry and hope. 7, my true feelings. I sat alone and thought about everything. Richard's words about his past were in my head. He told me about the money. He told me about his family. He told me about Victoria Sterling. So many secrets. It felt like he was two different people. One was my kind husband, the mechanic with oil on his hands. The other was Richard Ashford, the rich man from a big family with a secret life. Was his love for me true? He said it was. He said he left his old life with money and business to find something real. He said I was that real thing for him. I tried hard to believe him. I remembered our simple life together. Our small apartment felt warm and safe then. We were truly happy. We did not have much money, but we had each other every day. Richard was always kind to me. He always made me feel special. He was my best friend and my love, but now everything was different. Our simple life was gone. The newspapers wrote stories about us every day. People talked about us on TV and in the street. Cameras were always outside our home. We could not go out easily. I felt scared and I felt trapped by all the attention. This new life was full of noise and it felt very difficult. And then there was Victoria. Richard's former fiancée. He said their families planned the marriage for business reasons. He said he did not love her. He left her because he wanted to be free to choose his own life and find real love. He found me. But why did he hide this part of his life from me? Was it another lie? Or was it a difficult part of the past he wanted to leave behind forever? I looked at Richard. His face showed he was tired. He looked very worried. But when he looked at me, I saw the love in his eyes. It was the same love I saw when he was just my mechanic husband. It felt real. It felt strong. Can love be real when there are so many big secrets hidden? Can you build a future together on a past that was not fully shared? I thought about my feelings deep inside. I was hurt by the secrets he kept. I was confused by this new, strange world around us. But I knew I still loved Richard. My heart told me this feeling was true. It was a deep feeling, deeper than the pain or the confusion from the scandal. I knew I had a big choice to make. I could leave Richard. I could try to go back to my simple life, but I knew that might not be possible now. Or I could stay with him. I could face this new, difficult life by his side. It would not be easy at all. There would be many problems and challenges. His rich family might not like me. The angry media would watch our every step. Victoria Sterling might try to hurt us. The whole world was watching us now. But I looked at Richard again. I saw his love for me in his eyes. I felt my love for him in my heart. That was the most important thing. Money was just paper. Big houses were just buildings. Being famous was just noise. Love was real. Our love was real. My true feelings were clear inside me. I loved Richard very much. His love for me was true too. It was the strongest thing we had together. We could face the world if we were together. My decision was made in that moment. I would stay with my husband. We would not hide anymore. We would face everything as a team. 8, our new start. I thought for a long time. My head felt full of thoughts. Richard waited quietly. He looked at me with kind eyes. I looked at him, my husband. I remembered our simple life. Our small apartment, our old car, cooking dinner together. It was a happy life. Then I thought about the big house, the painting, the secrets, the newspapers, the people with cameras outside our door. It was a lot. My life was not simple anymore. But I looked at Richard again. I saw the man I loved, the man who made me laugh, the man who was my best friend. He had secrets, yes, big secrets, but his love felt real. It felt true. Was that enough? Could I live this new, strange life with him? Could I be Melania, the wife of a man the world was watching? Yes, I decided. I could. I would stay. Because our love was the most important thing. More important than money, more important than secrets, more important than what other people said. I looked at Richard and smiled a little. I will stay, I said. My voice was soft but clear. Relief filled his face. He looked so happy. He started to speak, but I raised my hand gently. "But," I said, "one thing must change. No more secrets, Richard. Never again. We must tell each other everything. Always. Can you promise me this?" He nodded quickly, his eyes serious. "Yes, Melania, I promise. No more secrets, ever." "Good," I said. "Because we will face this together. Everything. The newspapers, the people outside, your past." I took a deep breath. "And your family, we will face them all. As a team, you and me." He took my hands. His hands were strong. They were the hands of the mechanic I loved and the hands of the rich man the world knew. But they were his hands, my husband's hands. "Together," he said. "Always together. We are a team." We sat there for a moment, just holding hands in our small apartment. Outside, the world was noisy and difficult, but inside we felt strong. Our love was like a warm light. It felt real and true. It felt more valuable than all the money in the world. It was our treasure. Our simple life was gone. It was a new life now. A life with challenges we did not know yet. Victoria Sterling, his family, the public eye. It would not be easy, but we would not hide. We would be together. This was our new start. Our story was not finished. It was just beginning. The story of Melania and Richard, the mechanic and the librarian who was also a billionaire. We would write the next chapters together.